If you've been watching your bank account, checking your balance before buying groceries, or wondering how you're going to stretch the next Social Security or paycheck until the end of the month, then this message is for you. Right now, millions of Americans are holding their breath as talk of stimulus checks and a major announcement next Friday begins to spread across the country. For some families, this isn't just another piece of political news. This is about rent, medication, gas money, and whether the lights stay on. Across the nation, seniors, working families, and people on fixed incomes are asking the same question. Is more financial relief finally on the way? And with a major announcement expected next Friday, the tension is building. Because when government officials start hinting at stimulus-related updates, it can mean big changes for your monthly budget. For many households, even a few $100s can make the difference between catching up and falling behind. And that's why this upcoming announcement is being watched so closely. People want answers, they want clarity, and most of all, they want to know if help is finally coming back to their wallets. This isn't just another headline. This is about your future. And what gets announced next Friday could shape how millions of Americans plan their finances in the weeks and months ahead. Why this announcement matters now. The timing of this expected announcement couldn't be more important. Prices for everyday essentials have been squeezing families across the country. From groceries to rent, from prescription drugs to utility bills, the cost of living has made it harder than ever for many Americans to stay afloat. And while wages have gone up in some sectors, they haven't always kept pace with rising expenses. Seniors on fixed incomes, especially those relying on Social Security, SSI, or SSDI, have felt the pressure the most. Every increase at the grocery store or pharmacy hits them directly because their income doesn't always stretch far enough. That's why the idea of new stimulus checks has people paying attention. It's not just about extra money. It's about breathing room. It's about stability. It's about knowing that if an emergency hits, you might actually have the funds to deal with it. Next Friday's major announcement could address these concerns directly. Officials are expected to speak about financial relief measures, and that has sparked hope among millions who have been waiting for some kind of support. For many viewers watching right now, the question isn't whether stimulus checks are popular. The question is whether they're coming back and how soon they might land in your account. What officials have been hinting. Over the past few weeks, there have been growing signals from policymakers and financial insiders that something significant is being prepared. While no final numbers have been confirmed yet, conversations about targeted relief, one-time payments, and support for vulnerable groups have been gaining momentum. Some officials have suggested that any new stimulus effort could focus on specific groups like seniors, low-income households, or people receiving federal benefits. Others have talked about broader relief that could reach a larger portion of the population. What makes next Friday's announcement so important is the expectation that details will finally be clarified. Up to this point, most of the talk has been speculation, proposals, or early-stage discussions. But this time, the announcement is expected to be more concrete. That means Americans could finally hear specifics: how much, who qualifies, and when payments might be sent out. And for people who have been waiting for months, even years, for another round of direct payments, that kind of clarity could bring real relief. Until then, the suspense continues, because until those details are officially announced, millions of Americans are stuck in a holding pattern, wondering what's coming next. Who could benefit the most? If new stimulus checks are confirmed, certain groups are likely to feel the impact more than others. Seniors living on Social Security are often at the top of that list. Many retirees rely on fixed monthly payments that don't always keep up with inflation. For someone living on a limited income, a one-time payment could help cover overdue bills, medical costs, or home repairs. It could mean less stress and more security. And for people who are already cutting back on essentials, even a modest payment could make a huge difference. Low-income families and workers in struggling sectors could also benefit. Many households are still recovering from job losses, reduced hours, or higher costs. A stimulus check could provide a much-needed cushion, And then there are people with disabilities or those receiving federal assistance programs. For them, extra support could help cover the rising costs of healthcare, transportation, and daily living. So while the announcement hasn't happened yet, the potential impact is already being felt. People are planning, hoping, and waiting for confirmation. Because for many Americans, this isn't about extra spending money, it's about survival. The big question, how much could it be? One of the biggest questions on everyone's mind right now is the amount. How much could these potential stimulus checks actually be? That's where speculation has really taken off. Some proposals in recent discussions have mentioned amounts in the hundreds of dollars, while others have talked about larger one-time payments that could reach into the thousands. But until next Friday's announcement, nothing has been officially confirmed. Still, even the possibility of a new check has created a wave of anticipation. Families are already thinking about how they would use the money, paying down credit cards, catching up on rent, buying groceries, or setting aside a small emergency fund. For seniors, the question is especially important. A larger payment could help cover prescription costs or dental work that they've been putting off. For working families, it could mean finally fixing the car or paying off overdue utility bills. The amount matters because it determines how much relief people actually feel, and next Friday's announcement could finally answer that question. When payments could arrive. If stimulus checks are announced, the next big question will be timing. When could the money actually reach your bank account? In past stimulus rounds, payments were often sent out within weeks after approval. Direct deposit recipients typically received their funds first, followed by paper checks and prepaid debit cards. If a similar process is used again, people with direct deposit information already on file with the IRS or Social Security Administration could see payments sooner than others. That means some households might receive funds faster depending on how the program is structured, but timing will depend heavily on what exactly gets announced next Friday. If it's a proposal, it could still need approval before payments begin. If it's an already approved measure, the timeline could be much shorter. That's why next Friday isn't just another date on the calendar. It could mark the beginning of a new payment cycle that millions of Americans have been waiting for. What you should do right now. With all this talk about stimulus checks, many people are wondering what they should be doing to prepare. The good news is that there are a few simple steps you can take right now. First, make sure your banking and mailing information is up to date with the IRS or the agency that handles your federal benefits. Outdated information can delay payments. Second, stay alert for official updates. There's a lot of speculation online, and not all of it is accurate. The most reliable information will come directly from official announcements and verified sources. Third, start thinking about how you would use the money if a payment is confirmed. Having a plan can help you make the most of any relief that comes your way. Whether it's paying bills, building savings, or covering essential expenses, a little preparation now could make a big difference later. Why suspense is building across the country. The reason this upcoming announcement has captured so much attention is simple. People need help, and they need it soon. Across the country, families are feeling the pressure of rising costs and uncertain economic conditions. Every time there's talk of stimulus checks, it sparks hope, but it also brings anxiety, because until something is officially confirmed, nothing is guaranteed. Next Friday represents a turning point. It's the moment when rumors could become reality, or when expectations might have to be adjusted. Either way, the announcement is expected to provide answers. And that's why so many Americans are watching closely. Because what happens next Friday could directly affect their finances, their plans, and their peace of mind. What this could mean for your future. If new stimulus checks are confirmed, the impact could go beyond just a one-time payment. It could signal a shift in how financial relief is being handled moving forward. It could mean more targeted support for vulnerable groups. It could mean additional programs down the road. And it could change how families plan their budgets for the rest of the year. For many viewers, this isn't just about a single check. It's about the possibility of ongoing support. It's about stability in an uncertain economy. And it's about knowing that help is available when it's needed most. That's why next Friday's announcement carries so much weight, because it could shape not just the next few weeks, but the months ahead. The moment to stay alert. Right now, the country is in a waiting period. A major announcement is on the horizon, and it could bring big news about stimulus checks and financial relief. For you and your family, this isn't just another headline. It's about your wallet. It's about your bills. It's about whether you'll have a little extra breathing room in the weeks ahead. Next Friday could bring answers. It could bring relief, and it could mark the start of a new round of support for millions of Americans. So stay informed, keep watching for updates, and make sure you don't miss what comes next. Because in times like these, being informed isn't just helpful, it's essential for your financial future. And if you want to stay ahead of every major update, every payment announcement, and every change that could affect your benefits, make sure you stay connected and keep following future updates. The next piece of news could be the one that changes everything for your wallet.